Welcome to another episode of It Had to Be Said podcast, where we say out loud what you think in private. No topic is off limits. And in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about parenting. All right. And if you're a parent, you cannot afford to be stupid. There are some really good parents out there, and there are some really horrible parents out there. And today we're going to look at three different parents, three different stories that made the news as far as parents getting into high-speed police chase while their children are in the vehicle. And in the first scenario, we have a mother who's driving, and she's in a police chase with a police officer in Arkansas. And this particular story happened on May 2nd, 2026. I'm going to go ahead and play the audio here.
Get out of the car with your hands up! Put your hands up! Got a female coming out of the back seat on the driver's side. Hands up! Got a toddler walking out of the back. Got a baby. Come stand right here. You're okay. Come right here, baby. Come right here. Come right here. Sit up here, okay? Why are you going to jail? That's why you ran for me? You ran for me because you don't have a license? You almost killed your kid. Do you understand me? Come here. Stand in front of my car. You could have killed your child. Do you understand? That was the stupidest thing you've ever...
The link for this story is going to be in the description of the podcast, so you can actually watch the video for yourself. But basically what happened here is there's a police chase, and the police end up tapping the back of the vehicle in order to get the mother to stop who's driving the vehicle. There's not enough content there to let us know if the police officer knew that there were children in the car or whatever the case may be. But just from the conversation you hear the police officer have with the mother, explaining to her how that was just such a stupid move that she did and she could have caused harm and killed her own child, that kind of lets you know that the police officer more than likely did not know that the child was in the vehicle. Right. Now, the second story here happened again in Arkansas, but this particular story happened on May 24th, 2026. I'm not sure what's going on in Arkansas, but there's a lot of police chases, and for some reason, they don't mind when their kids in the car. So I'm going to play the audio for this one, and then I'll give you some more contents as well. Once again, this particular video or story, I will add the link in the description for this podcast as well.
Touch those lines, they're touching the car. Get back. Justin, get back. Is everybody awake?
Yes.
Everybody's, they're moving?
Yes. I don't know where my baby's at.
I have your baby. She's okay.
Thank you.
Now, there were several children in that vehicle. I believe it was 2 or 3 kids inside the vehicle. We're still waiting to get some more content in regards to it because not all stories make the national headlines. Some of them just make local news, and it's a little bit more difficult to get information in regards to those. But what my takeaway from this one is the fact that, the father, he did a very stupid thing. Okay. He got into a police chase. And this particular incident, the police did not even hit the vehicle. He lost control of the vehicle, and he caused the vehicle to hit a ditch, fly into the air, and then roll over. And when you hear the officer saying, stay away from the car, he's telling the other police officer to stay away from the car because there's power lines down. And because he was at a distance, he was the second one to pull up on the scene. But he didn't see that there was a child in the grass laying down outside the vehicle that was ejected from the vehicle. And that's why the other officer risked his life to go ahead and get that child, even though there were down power lines there. Okay. But for me, at least the father had the decency to say, look, I don't know where my child is. There's one of my kids that are missing. And when the officer said, we got your baby, the guy was decent enough to say, thank you. You can hear the gratitude in his voice because, sometimes you are in the moment and you do stuff and you just don't think. You have to get into a situation where you almost lose your child, and then that moment of clarity comes in and you learn from your mistakes. So you sit there and say, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking? Some people are like that. And then you have some people that are just complete a-holes, and this is where we're going to come to our third story. And unfortunately, really I don't have any audio for it, but we do have, I will put links into the description here so you can look at the different news articles and you can actually read the court transcripts as well. But in, what was this? December 22nd, 2020 in New York, there was a vehicle that was doing about 101 miles per hour on a freeway in New York. And inside this vehicle, you had a husband, Mr. Goods, you had his wife, Mrs. Goods, and you had their two daughters in the vehicle. One of them was 11 years old. And they got pulled over for speeding. And when the officer came up to the vehicle and asked the father who was driving for his driver's license and information because he was going to get a ticket for speeding, and it's a simple ticket. You're not going to go to jail. You're going to get a ticket, and you're going to, from there, you're going to, pay your ticket, pay your fine, and you're going to be done with it. If you have a suspended license, in most cases, if you cooperate and you don't have a warrant out on your arrest, if your wife has a driver's license, they'll probably let her drive and tell you to sit in the passenger seat. It's happened to me before. I've seen it happen before. It's not a big deal. It's just about how you interact with the police officers, right? But the father, Mr. Goods, he decided that he was going to declare that he was a sovereign citizen. Now, for those of you who don't know what a sovereign citizen is someone who believes that their home is sovereign territory, kind of like an embassy. If they're in their vehicle, they believe that they can use the United States of America's highway. And, once they're in their own cars, that means that's their sovereign state. They don't have to show no driver's license. They don't have to pay taxes. It's kind of like, I want to live in your country. I want to have all the protections. I want to be able to use your infrastructure, but I am my own sovereign entity, right? And the idea of this came about because you have some people out there, they just find ways to scam people and tell people all kind of BS and it really doesn't apply to the real world scenario. So that lets you know where this guy's mindset is, right? Conspiracy theorists and believe he's a sovereign citizen and, he's just not all there, right? That just lets you know where they're at mindset wise. So he goes back and forth and argues with the police officer. The police officer pepper sprays him because he's not cooperating in order to just get him out of the car, right? And when the police officer pepper sprays him, this guy takes off, driving down the street. Now, keep in mind, he has his wife and his two daughters in the car. In the first 30 seconds,
being outside is good for us. It's that simple. And trails make it easy for us to walk, bike, and be active outside in our own backyards. On the trail, we see people moving, connecting with their communities, making the places where they live great. For 40 years, Rails to Trails Conservancy has led the way, creating trails across the country, making it safer and easier for everyone to get outside. They want you to get involved. Find your trail and start your journey today at railstotrails.org/iHeart and follow at Rails to Trails on social.
Within 30 seconds of him taking off, the police officer rams him one time. 9 seconds after that, the police officer rams him the second time. And when the police officer rams him the second time, the car ends up flipping over. And the 11-year-old daughter, he was ejected from the vehicle. And, she passed away. Now, keep in mind, within the first 30 seconds, the police officer hit the vehicle. The chase went from 0 to 130 miles per hour. This is how fast Mr. Goods was going within the first 30 seconds, up to 130 miles an hour. Now, we're going to play backseat quarterback, right? Because, this story, it gets really crazy. Now, a lot of people is going to say, well, if the kids were in the car and the wife's in the car, the police officer had no business to ram the car, which is what they call a pit maneuver, right? Now, keep in mind, a pit maneuver is not meant to, because you'll hear a news article say he rammed the car. It's really a pit maneuver. A pit maneuver is meant to spin a vehicle out of control, not to make a vehicle flip over, right? That's not really what the pit maneuver is meant to do, make a vehicle flip over, but in some cases it does happen. Now, here's the crazy thing. After everything is said and done, the police officer there was a trial that just happened because, they first tried to hit the police officer with manslaughter, with murder charges, and those were dismissed. And then they said, well, we're going to hit him with manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, right? Because he contributed to the 11-year-old's death. And a lot of people are going to say, yeah, he did contribute to it because he should have never done that, all right? I have a different take on it. Like I said, we're going to play Monday Night Quarterback. And for those of you who don't know what Monday Night Quarterback is, that's basically when you're able to rewatch a game, look at the highlights of the game, and then you're able to break everything down, right? And you're not there in the moment. So it's easy for you to sit there, look at a situation or look at a video, pause it, said they could have done this, they could have done that. But, everything happens so quickly. And the reason why I focused on the 30 seconds and the first 30 seconds where he tried to do the pit maneuver and the 9 seconds after that he tried to stop the vehicle is because it's like this. You're driving your car. Okay, so let's just look at it from the perspective of the police officer, right? The police officer is like this. I tried to stop you. I tried to get you out of this. I tried to give you a ticket. You refused to cooperate. You refused to give me your driver's license. You refused to give me anything. I'm not sure what's going on within that dynamics of the vehicle. I'm not sure if the kids are kidnapped. I'm not sure if the kids are yours. We're not sure if they're being abused. I'm not sure if you have weapons in the car. We don't know what's going on. So I pepper spray you. And you take off. No logical person with their wife and children in the car after being pepper sprayed is going to take off driving. And we all know the effects of pepper spray. With pepper spray, you could barely see, right? You can barely see. Now, as a police officer, after I pepper sprayed you while you're in the car and the car is not going anywhere, you take off. I jump in my car to go after you. Because now, think about this. Police officers, they get a certain amount of training, so they have a certain amount of logic and common sense and whatever the case may be. Logically, I would sit there and say, okay, if I pepper sprayed you and you take off driving, you can barely see. How many of the vehicles are on the road? How many people, how long it's going to take before you hit someone, run into something, or cause somebody's death, right? So now here I am, I'm driving behind you. It takes me a couple seconds to catch up to you. And when I catch up to you, you're going at least 130 miles an hour, and I just pepper sprayed you. How long until you kill a whole bunch of other people on the streets or hit someone else? Because clearly, more than likely, you're not going to be able to see. You barely could breathe. It's only a matter of time, right? I got split seconds. Either I can try to stop you and get you off the road as quickly as possible, or I can continue letting you go and put other people's lives in danger. Which ones would you guys pick? You have 5 seconds. Not even 5 seconds. You have like 2 seconds to think about that. All right? Pepper sprayed somebody. They can barely breathe. They can barely see. They're hitting 130 miles an hour on a highway. There's other vehicles around. I can either let them go and let them hit someone and kill a whole bunch of people and cause a mass accident and mass casualty situation, or I can try to just stop this one particular vehicle by doing a pit maneuver. Right? You got 2 seconds to think about it. Not Monday Night Quarterback, 2 seconds. Which one are you going to do? It's a split second situation like that. Now, this police officer, he does a pit maneuver the first time. After 30 seconds after this guy's pulled off, it doesn't stop him. 9 seconds later, he does it again. Bam. Vehicle flips over, daughter dies. Now the police officer is being charged with murder. The state decides, because this father and mother lost their 11-year-old daughter, we're going to drop all charges. Matter of fact, we're not even going to drop charges. We're not going to charge them at all. Not for disorderly conduct, not for speeding, not for child endangerment. We're just going to drop the case and we're going to go after the police officer and charge them for murder. And the first trial Murder got kicked out. Murder, they couldn't find him guilty of murder. So then the state said, we're going to go after involuntary manslaughter. And now he's going to be serving anywhere between 2.5 to 7.5 years in prison. All right. The mother and father is now suing not only the police officer, but they're also suing the police department and saying, we want millions of dollars because you killed our daughters. We're supposed to go ahead and pay for somebody's negligence as far as being a parent. These piece of crap parents, if they should even be called that, and the mother herself gets on stage and tries to blame the police officer for everything. Your husband got pulled over. The car was at a complete stop. Only thing he had to do was provide a driver's license. He decided to take off after being pepper sprayed. First off, he decided not to cooperate. And then when he got pepper sprayed in order to be arrested and detained, he decided he's going to speed off with you and your 2 kids in the car. And now one of your daughters are dead, and you don't look at your husband and call him a piece of crap. You don't look at your husband and say, you killed my daughter. You look at the police officer and say, no, police officer, you killed my daughter. My husband did everything right. And the father had the balls to even get on the stand and say, well, I fled because I was in fear for my life. And we eat that up as American citizens, and we eat that up and we go out there and we protest. And we do all this, and we're supporting stupidity. We're supporting the ignorant, stupid, dumb actions of this couple. And we're probably going to go ahead and pay them millions of dollars. This doesn't make any sense. It's like America has become the land that supports the criminals, that supports ignorance, and supports stupidity. And this is why I've always said the laws need to be changed. It needs to get to a point to where if you're a criminal or if you're just a citizen and you commit a criminal act, right, and you resist or you flee or you do something during the process of being arrested, anything else that happens after that, you're 100% liable for it. How many other lives could have been lost? We see this happen all the time where somebody's in a police chase and then a mass casualty accident happened where they're hitting, 10, 20, 30 different car pileups and people are dying. And for me, it just doesn't make any sense, and and the thing that really bothers me about this is that, people they brought race into this. The police officer was white and the guy was black. Right? So they try to make it seem like it's a race thing. And it's like, oh, he's a white police officer, so he's going to get away with it. No, he's a police officer. He was doing his job. You were a father. You were a husband. You were supposed to protect your family. You put them in danger. And now you want to pass the buck and the blame on to someone else. Your daughter is dead because of your stupid, dumb, ignorant actions. But the black community here in America, they want to bring in race into it. Right? And I'll be honest with you. And the only thing I think, I'm not going to say is good about it, is the fact that this didn't become a national thing. It just became a local thing where you had local ignoramus people coming to the courthouse and protesting, and before anything was done, didn't even get the facts for the case. And so that, and this is just, and people always say black people can't be racist. Black people could be racist, okay? Black people, yes, they can be racist. And I think that the people that came out there to protest, it was just because of racism. It's because of their hatred for law enforcement. It's because of their hatred of white people. And if it was a black police officer, I don't think we would have had the level of protesting like they did at the courthouse. Honestly, I think the attorney general should not be reelected if it's a state where they get elected. I think that attorney general should be fired. That state attorney general should be fired for that particular state because it just doesn't make any dang sense. You see, what's going to happen is we're going to have people who want to become police officers. We're going to have them think twice about it. And pretty soon we're going to become a society where we're going to really have like a cluster of communities where it's going to be like really safe communities, because these are going to be people that embrace and love law enforcement. They embrace law enforcement because they understand without law enforcement, there will be no rule, there will be no law, there will be no order. And the communities that actually embrace it, there's going to be some of the safest communities. And then you're going to have other communities. Right now, it's kind of bad, but I think it's going to get really, really bad in America. It's kind of like Atlanta. Atlanta, the city of Atlanta itself, you know, they really have a shortage of police officers. And there's a lot of crime happening there. Detroit, cities where there's a huge amount of cities that have a large black population. These are going to be the cities that have that's going to have problems with crimes, and because they're going to have problems hiring police officers, because in the black community, kids are taught at a young age to hate police officers, and these grown adults, they're not even trying to reprogram the next generation to sit there and say, we need police officers, we need law and order. We have high levels of crime in our community, and we don't have enough police officers. And the reason why we have a lot of crime in our community, because we have this no snitching culture, right? And I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here. It's just that it really bothers me when I see this type of stuff happening, all right? We you know, I'm not going to get into it because I try not to make my podcast all about race. But I think, you know, as a community, we used to talk about white privilege, right? And I think it's becoming to a point where you hear the term black fatigue and black privilege. And this is a prime example of it. You cause your own child's death by your own ignorant actions, and yet you're able to hold somebody else accountable. And the state is supporting that. That's all I have to say in regards to this particular podcast episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I do post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. If there is a topic that you would like for me to discuss or touch on, you can go ahead and message me on Instagram at It Had to Be Said Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.